Hello and welcome to Dubai Trains. In this video, we're going to make a string diagram for my railroad. This actually started off as just a bit of a fun gimmick thing, something fun to do on the side. But as you see in this video, it's surprisingly insightful. And even for a small railroad like I have that run just 4 or 5 trains a day, there's actually quite a few things we can learn from it. So let's have a look. String diagrams are great because you can see exactly where each train is on your layout at any given point in time, where trains have to meet, and you can also order trains to move faster or slower so they can meet at a specific place. So let's have a look. Regular viewers will recognize this very simplified chart of my layout. It's point to point. We go from Ashfield to Dalton and back. And there's one siding here in Connellsville where trains can't meet. Now we have to have a quick look at the roster. We have only 4 trains. We have the Dalton turn that leaves from Ashfield to Dalton and then goes back. We have the CV turn that goes from Ashfield to Connellsville and back. And then we have the local. Local stops at Ashfield, Connellsville, Dalton, and Connellsville back to Ashfield on the way back. We totally skip Bucks, but that is explained in other videos. It's switched from Asheville. And then we have the DA Bullet, which is the only passenger train on the layout. That goes from Dalton to Asheville and then all the way back to Dalton. Now we don't have any time information because it's a fictional layout, so we need to start assuming some things. Let's assume that the Dalton and CV turn need 2 hours in respective cities to switch everything that needs to be switched and to turn around. And the local will need a turnaround time of 1 hour. Then we also need some distance assumptions and distance and thus also time. So I'm going to assume that the freight trains all take 1 hour to go from each city respectively, and the passenger train runs a bit faster, so it needs a half an hour to go from one city to the other. So let's get cracking. On the vertical axis we have the distance, that's the various cities, and then on the horizontal axis we have the time. So time runs on this layout from 6 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. in the afternoon. One helpful piece of information you need as well is going to be this red line. The red line is where trains can meet each other and pass each other. So we saw in Connellsville, there's this passing siding right here, and that is represented by this red line. So first train to leave in the morning is going to be the passenger train, the DA Bullet. As said, it's going to need half an hour to reach each next city. So you see it starts at 6 and at 6:30, it's halfway here, it will reach Connellsville. And then half an hour later at 7, it's going to be Bucks, and so on and so on. So let's just say at the same time, the Dalton turn freight train would leave Asheville from here. As you see, it needs an hour to reach the next station. So it needs an hour to go to Bucks, do that at 7 and 8, Connellsville, etc., etc. And then it needs 2 hours turnaround, so this is going to be represented by this flat line, so it'll arrive at 9 and at 11 it can depart again. You'll immediately see there's a problem. As we said, trains can only pass each other at this red line in Connellsville. And now they're going to meet each other here at Bucks, and there's no passing siding there. So what can we do? We can let the DA Bullet leave about an hour and a half later at 7:30, and then the trains will nicely meet in Connellsville. So let's just keep adding more trains. Then the CV turn can only leave once the DA Bullet has arrived. So it's going to leave here at 9, and the DA Bullet is just going to wait in Asheville. CV turn is going to arrive in CV, and then it's going to have 2 hours to turn around and then head back. Do note that the siding in CV has to be clear when CV is doing his switching there, because the Dalton turn has to pass. And this will happen at 12. At this point in time, I figured that we're not going to finish the day at 8 p.m. So I made it to midnight, just added some more hours to the chart. Let's continue. The local. The local can leave only once the CV turn has returned. So I said the local needs 1 hour for each respective city. So, and then to finish the day, the DA Bullet can leave around 8 in Asheville to then meet the local at CV to finish the day. So when I saw this, the first thing I did, as I'm going to start my day a bit earlier, started at 5 and then we end at 11. And what do you notice straight off the bat? You notice that this second half of the day is actually quite empty, where the local is. Basically, the DA Bullet is just waiting for the local so it can head back. So I was thinking, well, now I have this schedule. Let's see if I can squeeze in a few more passenger runs and what that would mean and how easy that is to do. So the first opportunity for the DA Bullet to turn around, I guess, is here and to meet the CV turn at this siding. So let's put that in. And then what do we see? We see that the Dalton turn, there's a problem there. But if we just delay the Dalton turn by about half an hour, just like that, then that problem is solved. So with that in mind, I managed to squeeze in 2 more DA Bullets, just like that. and only at the expense of 1 additional hour for the entire to complete the entire roster, because the local would originally arrive at 11 and now it arrives at 12. And this was actually really easy to do just because I have this chart. And you can also see some pinch points, and let's see what this all means. The CV turn, this is going to be a bit of a busy area. It has to wait for 3 trains, and it also needs to do some switching in between, so you do need to watch out there. And here you see a pinch point. Here you see the CV turn is arriving, the local is departing, and at the same turn the DA bullet is departing as well. So you have 3 trains that all have to cross each other more or less at the same time. So you might want to space this out a little bit more, and you need to look at your track planning. If you make this, and if you really want to have this, you need to make sure that your track plan can support this type of operation. But here you see as well immediately that the theory of how you're going to run your railroad is going to hit the practical limitation, can hit a practical limitation of your track plan. So these revelations I thought were actually very insightful, and now I truly understand why this was such a game changer back in the day when they first used this, and also why they still use it today, because you can really easily see not only where every train is every given point in the day, but your schedule, like where there's room to maybe squeeze in an extra train. And if one train is late, well, what is that going to mean for the entire schedule? Because for example, if this one right here would be delayed, then maybe you can just move it just right there and have this other green one leave just a little bit later. And then of course the local also has to leave a little bit later, but then you can just squeeze it in just like that. And that's of course also how they used it back in the day. If you're wondering how would all this work with the car cart system, click the video that you see on the screen right now. It's a true Dubai Trains classic video that explains how the car cart system works. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.